7. All right, let's have a chat with our Wednesday morning gadget coach, Mathan Allington. Morning, Mathan.
Very good morning to you.
Well, we're a bit staggered. You've sent us some numbers about mobile banking. First of all, just let's define the term. What do you mean by mobile banking?
Yes, so mobile banking would be through a tablet or a smartphone and using a specific app that's been created by the banks for the purpose of banking. So
that counts me out because, in other words, not internet banking.
Yeah, so it's internet banking made specially for a touchscreen device.
Okay.
So it's like internet banking, but on a phone or a tablet.
Now, you'd reckon that we'd be a little bit loath to get into that, wouldn't we?
A bit wary of it.
Yeah. I've had people ask if I think it's safe and security and that sort of thing, and my approach to it is the banks wouldn't do it if they couldn't guarantee the security of it, just like with internet banking, and in the same ways that they provide credit cards and guarantees that if they're defrauded, there'd be guarantees there, and they wouldn't provide it if it wasn't a safe service. So I was an early adopter of it, and I've never had any issues at all with internet banking at all.
Now, there's plenty of people like you. Just throw some numbers at us.
Yeah, so last month in Australia, hit $10 billion in transactions just in July alone. So that all processed through the app. So, for instance, ANZ had 5 million transactions totaling $3.5 billion, and Westpac 3.3 million, NAB 2.1, and Commonwealth Bank, they didn't have exact numbers, but estimated at least $2 billion in transactions. So just from the big four banks alone, so not including credit unions and some of the smaller banks, such as St George, etc., $10 billion in transactions alone.
We're definitely taking it up. And you say that some new simplified apps are appearing.
Yeah, so for instance, I'm with one of the big four banks, and they brought out the one I'm with brought out a new tablet app about a month ago. And so previously, I was having to do my banking through a browser, but with these touchscreen devices, that new interface is just to make it simpler, and it's dragging and dropping to transfer between accounts and make BPay payments, that sort of thing. And also, some of the banks are being quite innovative and opening up facilities such as opening a bank account through an app, such as St George is a bit of an innovator, and 10% of their new accounts that have been opened online have been opened through their mobile banking app, purposely made just for opening accounts.
I'm just trying to do the sums. I'm a bit staggered. That would be about $800 million in South Australia. $800 million
in July
last month in July. There's only 1.5 million of us to go around. So it's obviously becoming very popular.
Yeah, certainly. It's certainly some big numbers to get your head around, and it's transferring between accounts, it's making BPay payments, transferring money to other people. Yeah, so all sorts of transactions. Yeah, it's definitely a lot of money.
And, of course, this is speeding up too, isn't it, Mathan? Because more of these apps, these applications are coming in all the time to the point where, well, there's one bank advertises where you can just rock up and, get your coffee, get your cappuccino and go zip and takes it off your credit card.
Yeah, so there's an interesting technology which some people might have heard of, NFC, which is near-field communications, and it's similar technology to what you have in those PayPass or the swipe credit cards where you just tap and go.
Yeah.
So the smartphones are coming out with it, and it's only really in testing stage in Australia at this point. But in a couple of years, with the phones, you'll be your phone will be your credit card where you would tap and go, and once the banks have those apps and have tested the facilities, you'll see that in a couple of years. So
even if you go down to the 7-day and buy a packet of Chewies, you'll be able to tap and go?
Yes. So the idea of the smartphone could eventually replace your wallet in the long term.
Yeah, the cashless society is maybe not ever quite get there, but we're heading that way.
Yes, the developments are there, and the new smartphones that are out have the feature, but we just don't use it at this point because it's still in testing stage.
Sort of cast yourself forward 20 years, JK, and you wander up and you try to offer $2 for your coffee, and they'll say, "Oh, a coin! I haven't seen one of those in years."
Sorry, we don't take cash. Hey, before we go, Nathan, just a quick snapshot. You've got 10 years of internet usage here, 2002 to 2012, and some of the stats are amazing. The amount of time that we now spend online compared to 10 years ago.
Yes, so 10 years ago, the average user, 9.1% of the population was using the internet, used it 46 minutes per day. So it was more of a social thing, or to get on, maybe check some news, do some basic email. Mm-hmm. Now it's 4 hours per day.
That's amazing. I'm trying to think, do I sit down at a screen for 4 hours a day?
Well, you're doing it now.
I guess we do. So many people do it at work.
We forget that we're sitting here, and I've just looked up Serafino down because we had an ad about them down at McLaren's, and we're getting our texts in via the web. So, I've got 4 screens, and we were just talking about maybe I'll bring in a 5th because there's a particular weather app that I want to leave open all the time. So I guess work time would be well and truly in there.
Yeah, it's just so integrated in what we do, particularly in work these days, whereas previously it was just an added thing 10 years ago, and the speeds were slow. It was a bit frustrating, but now we've got the speeds that are sufficient to find the information, and there's the internet landscape with all the services available has changed dramatically. So,
well, just on the speed, in 2002 it took 12 and a half minutes to download a song. What's it take now?
18 seconds.
Get out. Is that how long it took us? I reckon I was downloading from iTunes, and I guess we thought it was quick because that's all there was.
You just went and did something else, made a cup of coffee, I suppose.
Because it's a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy, though, because as you sort of think, oh, now you beaut, I've gone, I've got my wireless and I've got the, high speed, and then every website says, oh, you got more speed, we'll put more stuff on.
Yes, that's right. So the page load time 10 years ago was 16 seconds. Now it's 6 seconds. So the change isn't as dramatic, but that's because the content and the size of a web page is so much larger than it was 10 years ago.
Terrific. And just quickly, finally, the number of websites 10 years ago, 3 million. How many today?
555 million.
So there's a lot of stuff to trawl through. Hey, Mathan, fascinating stuff. Thank you for that. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay, look forward to it. Thank you.
Mathan Allington, our Gadget Coach.
It's easy with Gadget Coach.